is they're trying to do some motioning. They're trying to move around a little bit because they're just trying to figure out, like, I don't want Penei Sewell to get that double team going with his guard and move that guy 7 yards downfield like he was on the regular last year. I need to be able to beat our tight ends. The tight ends are pretty good. Sam Laporta was coming out was the best blocking tight end in the draft for his group. I mean, I'm talking about group of the high level guys. I didn't scout everybody. It was maybe just a 290-pound tight end. So you have to be able to stunt. You have to be able to bring pressure off the edge. You have to be able to stymie these guys at the line of scrimmage. A lot of times they're going to have built-in answers for like a second, like a scat protection rusher that involve leaking the ball to the running back. So like, say, how do we account for that? How do we make ourselves right? There's so many questions you have to answer with this team. But let's just start off with this. And they got 5 dudes that can just run like the wind all over the ball. So I think this is Williams. I think James Williams. Like, they're just so they do a 3-by-1, and this is what they start doing. So this looks like crossers, right? Amon St. Brown, they're just going to run crossers. They go a bunch. Everybody on the planet has seen this before. And what he does right here, it is break tendency. He just goes back around, and then there's nobody there. Why? Because the NFL defenses don't even consider that to be an option. Now, this is what I love about what Hank Fraley, the offensive line coach, Ben, whoever's kind of making these decisions, I think is so smart, right? This is what we used to do a lot back in Green Bay. You got to set to win, and you know that the defense is basing wherever their alignment is based on you. So if Penei Sewell lines up another foot outside, that defensive end is going to line up another, in real time, he's going to line up in the same distance he is now, so it's going to be another foot wider. So what does that mean? So they're going backside here, and you should know they're going backside just by their splits. But the defensive tackle is the tough block here. So what the right guard takes a small split so they can get to that defensive tackle. The distance between that defensive tackle and that defensive end is going to dictate how big the gap is on the backside because Penei Sewell is going to rise to the linebacker. So the wider the Penei Sewell split is, and they do this like very intentionally. Some teams don't do this intentionally. They do this very intentionally. This is part of their game that goes unnoticed, but I think is one of the more critical pieces to their execution. That defensive end has been extended by, let's say, just a foot and a half compared to the rest of the splits of the offensive line. What does that do? Because remember, they got one of the faster running backs in the league. Because of that little detail, he's gone. I mean, the defensive end never really has a chance. So they go motion to 3-by-1, under center play action, one of their favorite things. They clear everybody out. They've got an athletic offensive line. Because of the speed, the motion, everything that happens, the linebacker just drops, right? And that's exactly what he's supposed to do. But now you leak out, I think this is Montgomery, into the screen game, and it's literally 3-on-1. So they get all 3 guys out somehow. Montgomery gets, 15 yards before anybody touches him. This looks like split. So they bring their F. Is that Laporta maybe? But they look at like they're an I. They go in motion. It looks like split flow. You got the backers running hard. We're going to cut the defense. And then Laporta bypasses the defensive end. They run the around. So they just basically book one guy, get an extra man out on the flat defender. And now he's one-on-one, and then athleticism. Whoops. 31 didn't even know what to say right there. He didn't even. There's no like palms up. There's no nothing. He's just like, He was a high jumper in high school. What do you want me to do? Creating leverage. How do you find success against these guys? So this is one of the ways. You know that the receivers like to add in. They do a lot of motion in, and then they'll try to add into the game in the run game, so they'll help the backside tight end here or something like that. So I think Laporta's on the left, 87. So he's going to flash. They're going to pull the guard, and he's going to flash that that linebacker at the second level, and then he's actually going to go out and block somebody else. They're actually just booking one guy. Now the left tackle, who's the backup, has to rise up and get to the middle linebacker. That's a tough angle, and every team in the league right now, and I don't know why this is happening, but every team in the league is telling that tackle to secure the 2-eye regardless and not really worry about the linebacker. And so if you're on that 2-eye side, that linebacker needs to cheat over a little bit and create this leverage problem, because if the tackle has to go down and touch that guy, there's no way he's getting up to linebacker level. These become kind of easier plays to make. We got 12 personnel, fullback, tight end fullback in the backfield, and they just run a stunt. And so they're going to run this guy back, talking about fullback backside, but they're bringing the stunt. They're crashing the end. They're bringing the safety off the edge. Linebacker's going to fold over, and they're running that B block. Peninsula tries to get back and help the end, but he is able to get over the top, end up making the play in the hole. Now, there's risks involved, and this is a calculated thing. If you're going to do this, they're just going to run outside zone to that side. They're going to eat you up, or they're going to run something where they cut the defense with some sort of crack block. And, one of these guys, especially Gibbs, man, if he gets a seam, he's out the gate, right? He can run for 80, no problem. Or you just hope they do some stuff like this where, Peninsula. This is actually phenomenal that they even do this. I mean, they must be having so much fun. I think this is, oh man, who's this linebacker? He was a rookie last year. He was a good player. I forgot his name now for the Bears. It's like the one thing you're thinking, like, man, do not let this guy mush face you. Just like Derrick Henry stiff arm. Like, just get him. I mean, take a shot at his knee right there or something, right? I know it's 30, but Jesus age. Got to add in here. So the Bears are down. There's a receiver outside that's going to crack. Can't see him on the screen. And this is the game. Can I see this? Is there something in the stance that's been tipped? Like Sewell, for example, his stance changes when he's in pass pro. Do I see that? Know that this is a backside play and I can shoot that C? That the tight end's going to try to cut off that defensive end? How fast can I react? Am I right? Can I make myself right? Can we play fast? Can we identify and play fast? I think right here, you see this, and he just, maybe he IDs the first step of the tackle. Maybe he IDs the first step of that wide receiver, but man, he gets through and ends up making that play in the hole. It's a really, really tough thing. Now, they run the micro cross. So they've got two outside to the left. So they have two outside, guard tackle are manned up. But the defensive end is going to drop and take that swinger out away from the quarterback. 53 is going to come on the pressure. They're going to run the nose across the front, so they just don't have time to pick this up. And they've ID'd this, so the guard's looking out to his right. So they got the free rusher, and you just see here when this stuff happens, like, he's not trying to get rid of the ball. This is a way to get to him. When you make him turn his shoulders to the sideline, going to his left, you got a real good chance of getting involved in the play. Yeah, but really, I mean, it's not easy to get to these guys. It's not easy to get to these guys. So what are the keys to the game? Well, I think offensively or defensively, I suppose. How do we get Goff off his spot? Can we take calculated risks in the run game to shut the run game down? And then can we get Goff off his spot? And are we comfortable being able to tackle their guys behind the first down markers? Right? If they get the ball in the flat, if Gibbs is the check down, are we comfortable with that? Can we stick to him enough to not get him a head full of steam before he runs at us? Offensively, they will pressure, they will run stunts, they show in their stances, they have tip tails and tendencies at the line of scrimmage. In the run game, can we take the gimmies? Can we use our footwork to win? Because they will make it obvious at times. We can use double counts, we can slow our cadences down, and we can understand what's going to happen pre-snap. And then the biggest thing with this team for me is, can you match their intensity? It's going to be a home game on Thursday night in Detroit. They're 11-1. They're doing extremely well. They're scoring 32 points a game. They're favored to win. They want the North Division title. They want the bye week. They want, they want this stuff. They think they've earned it. They think they deserve it, and they play with that kind of confidence. They play with that kind of aggressiveness. They have, they have a staff full of former high level players. So can you match their intensity, play in and play out? Can you be present, play in and play out for everything that's going to be required to find success in a very hostile environment? And we play these guys tough. These division matchups are always difficult. I mean, they're always competitive. The Bears, the Bears are not a good football team. They almost beat Detroit last week. So this is not an insurmountable task. And the fact that it's only -3 kind of tells you that this is a very, very good football team. The Packers are looking like a very, very good football team right now. This is going to be a monster matchup. I'm excited about it. I'm sure everybody else is too. Thanks to our sponsors, Bet Online. If you have any questions, hit me up, Michael68 on Twitter, Process to Perform on Instagram. Just ask. I'll do my best to answer them before the game. If you're enjoying these shows, like, rate, and review us on our YouTube channel, Process to Perform. Otherwise, hit us up on the Believe Network. Guys, always fun doing shows. I hope you have an enjoyable game. I hope you have an enjoyable weekend. Until next time.